What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here, and I'm on my way to pick up some stuff for the chopper. No, not the XS650 chopper, and no, not the FXR that I just got as a project, which is not going to be a chopper at all, but the Triumph chopper. If you guys aren't familiar, I actually picked up not too recently from my friend Eric at F&A Customs a 1971 650 Triumph engine. It originally was in a T120R, but I've just got the engine, a couple of boxes of parts, and a title. The Triumph chopper is going to be my chopper. That's the project that I'm going to start working on after the XS650 is done. By the way, I just made a couple of really huge steps in the XS650 project that I'm really proud of, so we're getting closer and closer to taking that to powder and paint. But when it comes time to start the Triumph project, obviously it's missing one big piece. That's the frame. So I was having a live stream doing a Garage Hangs Q&A, and one of the subscribers, someone from Shade Tree Army, mentioned in the comment section, they go, "Hey, I've got a bunch of old Triumph parts just lying around if you want to pick them up." Now, I've been offered motorcycle parts before, but the biggest problem usually ends up being that they live out of state or just somewhere that it's really not, I can't get to them, you know? Someone goes like, "Hey, I live in Oklahoma, I've got a big pile of motorcycle parts for you, you can just come pick up." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, man, that's super generous of you, and I'd love to have them, but I can't really drive out to Oklahoma for a couple of boxes of parts." But this guy says, "No, actually, I live in Tampa," and turns out not too far from where I live either. And he says, "Yes, I'm absolutely serious. I've got a whole bunch of Triumph parts just lying around. Come and get them." It seems too good to be true, but you know, who knows? I'm on my way there right now, so hopefully he doesn't turn out to be a psycho killer. But I've been talking to him a little bit. He seems like he's on the up and up, if you know what I mean. But I have no idea what he has. He sent me a couple pictures of what the bike used to look like, and it used to look absolutely amazing. Actually, pretty much almost what I want to build for myself. So even if he just has a frame that's left over from what this chopper used to be, that would be absolutely amazing. And I love repurposing survivors. To me, that's so cool. So my original plan was to just buy a frame that was already built. There's a place called Factory Metalworks that builds frames, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just buy a frame for my Triumph chopper." But how cool would it be to bring back to life what was somebody's chopper back in the 70s or the 80s? That's so much cooler. So I'm hoping that's what the case is, but I'll catch up with you guys when we get to his house. All right, I'm back in the garage after picking up all those parts. I didn't film while I was there because Jesse said that he didn't want to be on camera, although we did manage to get a picture. And I always respect it when somebody doesn't want to be on camera, especially when that someone is doing me a huge favor, because holy mackerel, I did not expect what I ended up getting from him. This is just so beyond the pale. The amount of stuff that I just picked up that he just gave to me. He just gave it to me. I tried to give him money, he wouldn't accept it. The amount of stuff that he just gave to me, just donated to the channel and said, "Hey, make something out of this," is absolutely staggering. I don't know what I did to deserve to be this lucky, but I feel so incredibly fortunate right now. And I can't thank Jesse and his wife enough. Absolutely amazing people. I ended up hanging out with them for a while. Super cool folks. They do long distance trucking. They're a husband and wife team. They do that for a living, and just absolutely awesome people who, I mean, even if they hadn't have given me all this stuff, they're absolutely awesome people. But just to give somebody this and say, "Hey, make the best out of this," is just people like that are rare. People who pay it forward like that are very rare folks, and I am fortunate to have them in my life. The stuff that I just picked up, it's gonna put this chopper on the fast track, and in fact, it's changed a lot of the things I was originally gonna do. You see, he gave me basically a completed motorcycle. I mean, he gave me a whole bike. The bike's in a series of boxes, but it is a whole bike. I'm gonna show you everything he gave me, and then I'll show you a picture of what the bike used to look like before it got tore down. And this is an original Survivor. I mean, this thing was made in the 1960s. This is an original chopper that was ridden around by some mad madman, freak, counterculture weirdo in the 60s and 70s. I mean, that is so freaking cool. Just having that story behind it, not to mention having Jesse's story behind it. It makes me want to complete this so much more. It makes me want to do this so much more, because once this bike is back to life and back on the road, it will have all those years of history and heritage, and all the people who had their dirty little dick beaters all over this bike for all those years are going to be inside this motorcycle. And yeah, you can't fake that. You can't fake that, man. And I am so excited and so thankful. I'm almost beyond where I'm getting goosebumps right now. It's so lame. I'm so lame. I'm such a freaking cornball, but I am. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. So let me show you what I picked up. So this is the only thing that I expected to pick up. You know, when he texted me originally, or when he first contacted me on the live stream, he said, "Hey, I've got a Triumph frame." I said, "Cool. You know, I've got an engine. I need a frame." Now, not only did he give me this frame, but it is an original. I mean, this is a original custom frame from the 1960s. This wasn't made a few years ago. It wasn't even made in the 80s. This frame is over 50 years old, and it was custom made over 50 years ago. And like I said, you can't fake that. And I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't something this cool. Because yeah, sure, I could buy a frame. That's what I had originally planned on doing, but how much cooler is it than buying a frame, to have this thing that was created way back then, back when choppers were basically first invented. So not only did he have this original frame, but he also had this. An original twisted Springer, also from the 1960s. This blew me away. The fact that he just said, "Yeah, here, go ahead, take this and make it awesome." The fact that he did that was insane. I mean, yeah, it could use a little TLC. It could definitely needs to be cleaned up. I'm going to see if this is just on the surface or whether I have to have it re-chromed or not, but I'll absolutely have it re-chromed because, yeah, Springers are cool. Springers are awesome. Personally, I actually love twisted Springers. I think that's one of my favorite styles. But this isn't just a Springer. Just like the frame and just like everything else, this thing was made in the 1960s. This was made when the chopper movement and chopper style was just starting. And like I said before, you can't fake that. You can't fake this. That's something real. So freaking cool. So cool. And the coup de grace, I was totally not expecting a completely assembled Triumph 650 motor. A completely assembled T120 motor. Here you go. Throw it in the back of the truck. It's yours. What do you even say to somebody who does that for you? What do you even say? You know, what do you say? Thank you? That doesn't even begin to cover it. Thank you doesn't even begin to say how I feel. I mean, wow. Just wow. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. And I'm lucky to have these people in my life and people who are willing to do this just because they said, hey, you know what? I want to see this bike and I want to see this engine brought back to its former glory and I want to see it ridden. So here, go ahead, make it happen. And of course, not to be left out, but I still have this T120 engine that I got from Eric at F&A Customs as well. So all of a sudden, I find myself awash in Triumph parts. Not to mention that he gave me a spare head and spare cylinders here, along with many other spare parts. We got the tank here that was originally on the bike. He's got every nut and washer and bolt you could imagine is all sitting here, ready to go and organized for when this thing goes back together. Not to mention an original 1969 Triumph workshop manual. What they actually used in the Triumph dealerships. This is original, an actual 1969 manual. How fucking cool is that? I've got exhaust pipes. I've got multiple seats that he gave me for the motorcycle. I've got all the bracketry, extra handlebars, brand new tires, not to mention a completely assembled rear rim. I got a whole nother box he gave me here full of brake stuff, cables, wiring, extra controls, multiple carburetors for the bike, and I haven't even completely gone through everything that's in here yet, but let me tell you, that tote is incredibly heavy. And on top of all that, his generosity wasn't over. He gave me a motorcycle lift. Now this I will put to immediate use. And again, just blown away. Just said, here, take it. Take the motorcycle lift along with everything else. Just go ahead, take it back to your garage, make this bike run again. You know, that's all he wants. He goes, I want to just see this bike running and it getting used on your channel. That's all he asked for. That's all he asked for in return. So yeah, like I said, I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world right now. I'm beyond words. Thank you isn't enough. It's just... I'm gonna have to find a way to pay this forward somehow, and trust me, I will. And the first way I'm gonna start by doing that is making sure that this bike gets rebuilt, that this frame and that front end and all these parts that he gave me get back on the road, because that's what he asked me for. That's what he wants to see, and that's what I'm gonna do. And it has just lit a fire into my ass. It's made me so motivated to do this and so excited to do this, and it's made it so much easier for me to do this. Thanks to him, he has put all these tools right at my fingertips. All these parts are just ready to go and ready to be put together to make an awesome bike. And I'm gonna take you guys along the whole journey. So say thank you. Please say thank you in the comments if you're looking forward to this. If you're looking forward to the Triumph chopper build, say thanks, man. Say I appreciate you, Jesse, in those comments, because I know he'll be watching and I know he'll be reading the comments, and he's a good dude. What a great guy. And again, it's easy for me to say he's a great guy because he just gave me all this stuff, but a good guy anyway. I think I'm a pretty decent judge of character, and awesome dude, man, I can tell. Now, I will tell you, before I even start on this, I am going to finish the XS650. I'm still, even though I've got all these parts ready to go for the Triumph, that still comes after the XS build. I'm not gonna get caught up in the trap of doing multiple projects at the same time. I have multiple projects in my garage, but one at a time, and do it until it's done. Because I see too many dudes get caught up in doing this and doing that and jumping back and forth and running into a frustration on one project and saying, well, I'm just gonna go work on something else for a while. That's not gonna be me. I'm gonna do the XS650 to completion before I ever turn the first wrench on the Triumph chopper build. So get ready for more XS650 videos, and after that's done, get ready to see this Triumph chopper come back to life. Thanks for supporting me, guys. Huge thank you to Jesse. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird.